So while the Lions will need to wait a little bit longer to unfurl their premiership flag, I do still want to touch on Brisbane because it's been pretty tough to go back to back. Only 4 teams have done it in the last 30 years. And when it comes to the premiership hangover, which we absolutely love to talk about in the media, check out this graphic here. The Lions are going to have to buck the trend of the last couple of premiers if they're going to do it. Lockie Neal looking a little bit worse for wear there as the baby, Josh.
Well, if you can't pick out who Ellen is, that's Chris Fagan. The glasses are a dead giveaway, but we're going to be discussing the premiership hangover, aren't we, Nat? Because it's become a real thing, a big issue in the last couple of years. It's only happened 5 times this century, but it's happened 3 times in the past 4 years, where the reigning premier hasn't played finals. Chad, it's happened twice in the past 2 years. Collingwood started 0-3 and never really got going. They missed out on finals. Geelong did it 12 months earlier. They were 0-3 and never got going. Have you got any concerns about Brisbane? We're talking about a condensed pre-season, an early start to the year. Are you concerned about them?
I'm not concerned about them. They've got some absolute talent. I think they're probably their most talented list. The thing that hurts them, obviously, is the shorter pre-season. But the other thing you don't take into account, that every single team are in their AFL, that's the blueprint to win, right? So they're scouting them every week. You're getting the best of the best. So that's something to be concerned about as well. Well,
Brisbane premiership coach Chris Fagan was at Hawthorn during their 3-peat era. So he's learnt a lesson or two when it comes to the premiership hangover and avoiding it.
Yeah, well, it comes back to a little bit about that staying humble after you win a grand final. I mean, you get that many pats on the back and people telling you how good you are. It's sort of easy to lose sight of reality, I think. You shouldn't have a sense of entitlement after you win a premiership. And we talked about that straight after the game. I said, boys, don't get like that. And we've had conversations about what that sort of behaviour looks like. So if it pops up, it's everyone's job to stamp it back down.
Attitude, Chad. Just stamp down that behaviour. We don't want to see it. Stay humble, and hopefully it holds them in good stead.
Yeah, and early on too. So he's come out and said that. So it's hopefully the boys can start the season well, which they didn't last year.
I mean, as you mentioned, quality list even without Joe Daniher, which is maybe the question mark, Josh, in terms of how that forward line looks. But they've certainly stacked for talent.
It's going to be impossible to replace Joe Daniher. We know that they didn't have enough time to replace him during last October's trade period, but they've got a lot of names that have been on the fringes, that have been unavailable, that are now edging towards being available. So the pressure for spots, I think, is really going to rise the standard. It's going to help make the hangover go away a little bit. I believe when you consider some of these names that are coming back in, Levi Ashcroft's a player that was taken at pick 5 last November who is ready to come in and play straight away. Then you look at the ACL crew, there's so many quality players. Lick McCarthy came back and played in the Amy Community Series. Darcy Gardner's not too far away. And Kitty Coleman, he's a little bit further behind those two, but we can't forget the last game he completed, he came runner-up in the Norm Smith medal. And then, Chad, there's Tom Doedee. We haven't seen Tom Doedee play at AFL level since round 12, 2023. He's almost the forgotten recruit from 2024. If he can come in and play a role in the back end of the year, I think he can have an impact. And Oscar McInerney, he doesn't have a premiership medallion. We can't forget that. So there's a handful of players there that are really going to be pushing to ensure they don't have a hangover.
Just give them the premiership cup now, I say.